and we can get cracking from now. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, in that case, welcome everybody to the EKM Academy webinar edition. There's no better time than after a long weekend to sit down first thing in the morning and start learning about everything growth services. Just a little bit about myself. My name is Jack, and I've been in the digital marketing space for around 17 years now. And 11 of those years, I've been predominantly helping e-commerce brands grow, scale, and dominate within their industry and within their niche. And I've worked with everyone from startups through to seven-figure e-commerce brands and everything in between. Luckily, the mechanism for starting and growing an e-commerce store and maintaining that level of success, it's all the same activity, just scaled up in volume. And we're going to run through all of those individual growth services today. I'm obsessed with results. I'm passionate about making growth simple and measurable. The SEO space, the PPC space, there's lots of smoke and mirrors around what it takes to either get a website ranking or to get customers for an e-commerce store. And one of our main missions at EKM and at Clear Course and the EKM Academy is a great vehicle to do this, is just to demystify a lot of what it means to grow your e-commerce store. I head up the business growth services at EKM and Celadec, and today that's what we're going to be running through. So let's get cracking. So SEO and PPC. SEO stands for search engine optimization and PPC stands for pay per click. And we're going to run both today in this presentation. So what is SEO and why it matters? Just before we continue, we are going to be able to do a Q&A at the end. I'm going to try and leave as much time as possible. The webinar is going to be recorded and sent out to you. So if it does feel like we're moving quite quickly because we do have a lot to cover today in the hour that we have, this webinar will be sent, the recording will be sent to all of you so you can run through it at your own leisure and relive any part of it that you need. And then we'll be able to field the questions at the end during a Q&A. All right, so what is SEO and why it matters? As mentioned, SEO stands for search engine optimization, and it's all about getting found on Google without paying for every single click instead of acquiring customers through PPC, which we'll run through later. It helps drive consistent high intent traffic over time. When you're running an e-commerce brand, you want high intent buying intent traffic. They're the customers that are going to convert. Think about SEO as building long-term equity in your brand. The higher you rank in Google for organic terms, the more equity you're building, the more value that you're creating for your brand, because it's a very, very desirable concept to have for any business, is organically ranking higher in Google. So the more SEO you do, the more value you're adding to your business, even outside of the concept of customer acquisition. I want you guys to think of SEO, good SEO, like building a house. You need a strong foundation, great walls, and an overall reliable structure. And the way we conceptualize this in the SEO space is three pillars: technical SEO, which is the site speed, mobile friendliness, and clean code, the super boring technical stuff that thankfully the EKM platform does do really well outside of the box. On-page SEO, which is a little bit more in your guys' control. This is the stuff for what keywords you use on each page, meta tags, headings, and content structure, which will drill down into more detail in the presentation. And off-page SEO, which to me is the most exciting part. It moves the needle, I believe, the most when done right. And this is building off-site authority through backlinks and social proof. This is other websites ultimately talking about yours. And I drive into a little bit more detail in the presentation. So technical SEO, this concept, you'll be surprised how lost on people this is. Google is a product, just like everything you guys sell, just like everything EKM provides. Google is a product like everything else. It's not a public utility. Its product is providing trusted and relevant search results to its customers, which are the searchers. So its product is a search engine, the concept of index search, and its customers are the people using the search engine. So when armed with this kind of concept, you can start imagining, well, what would you do to decide how to rank other websites and businesses in your search results if you were running that search engine? And Google uses lots of signals. So when it comes to technical SEO, site speed provides a key indicator of a fast and smooth experience for the user. So if Google gets that signal that it's a fast and great user experience, it's going to go, oh, okay, cool. This website is a good fit to rank for. in the search engines for these particular key terms. And again, mobile friendliness, responsiveness, which again, EKM's pretty good at doing out of the box, which shows Google that you're considering all users across all devices. Google knows how much of a fast-paced environment this technical web space is, so it wants to provide its users, its customers, its searchers with websites and companies like yourselves who are staying up to date with these latest concepts of user experience. And clean, well-structured code shows Google you're reliable in the long term. If you keep your house in order, Google sees that. When Google comes to crawl your website, it doesn't look at it from like a human perspective, right? It looks at the code and it starts visualizing how the website's structured and it goes from there. So it needs to be built in a reliable way. Again, EKM, massive shout out to the platform. The vast majority of that is dealt with. On-page SEO. This is the exciting stuff that you guys, everyone on the call should have a bit more control over this. Now, good keyword density throughout your website content is desired when it comes to ranking for certain keywords. This is a real life use case, an example of before and after for a fishing supplier customer of mine. They sell fishing equipment and stuff like that. And this was a real product description that they had, and it's for a fishing rod. Now, before, the term fishing isn't mentioned once in the product description. Now, sometimes you'd be surprised how often things like this are let slip when you guys are dealing with your products, whether you're importing information from a manufacturer or writing them on the fly. It's very easy just to miss some obvious things that you would want Google to read. Google, on the face of it, would have had no idea that this was immediately a fishing rod. So what we done is we rewrote the content just to make sure we mention after carbon fishing rod, and then we mention the fact it's a fishing rod later in the product description. What this does, a very small change. It's not super sexy. This is very simple stuff. It's just making sure that keyword density throughout a page is reflecting of what you want to rank for without just stuffing the page full of loads of keywords. Don't spam your keywords. Put them in naturally, but make sure you're giving Google the best chance of success in understanding what you want to rank for and what you're trying to provide for your customers. Another example of on-page SEO is metadata. Now, everyone will be familiar with these screenshots. These are the search results pages, and this is the customer in question, and this is the exact same product that I was doing some optimization work for. What arguably one of the most important aspects for this search result page is the page meta title, and this is what this is here, the Achios Chiori ST420 TT, which you would have to assume was a fishing rod because again, it's not mentioned anywhere in the search results pages. So what we done is we updated the meta title to include fishing rod for long casting. I'm a really big fan of optimizing for click-through rate for the search engine results page cards as well. So we just put what the product is and ultimately what you'd like to search for, because these guys would love this product ranking for fishing rods, and then a propositional led hook. This fishing rod is for long casting. So this actually began ranking slightly higher for fishing rods for long casting just because we made that change in your meta title. So after this webinar, it'll be worth you guys doing an audit, running through and just making sure your meta titles and the way in which your product pages are reflected in Google search accurately reflects what you want to rank for, but more importantly, what the product is, to give the user the best chance of understanding what they're going to see if they click through. All right. Another often underlooked aspect of on-page SEO is a good heading structure. There's a HTML tag. HTML is the main bulk of code that drives your website, and heading tags, H1s, H2s, H3s, and so on. They're the main indicators within your content that tells Google what your main focus is for your website. So in this case, this H1, the main title tag is your business, our experts, everything you need to succeed online. This tells Google instantly that you provide services for people to succeed online. Google's going to associate you with that topic, and it's going to associate your rankings with overall keywords within inside that niche. So for example, if you sell car parts, don't have your H1 saying free shipping on orders over £50, because that's going to tell Google that's what you specialize in. That's just not, you specialize in car parts. So you would want your H1 title to be whatever golden goose you would want to rank for, which would be car parts supplier. So you'd want your H1 to be that or variations around that H1. Super, super important. Cannot stress it enough that this is very important to get right. And then, of course, this cascades down to subtopics and subheadings. So, for example, with a H2, you would want to make your H2 on your page a subtopic of the industry and niche you're in. So, again, if you ran a car parts supplier e-commerce store and your main H1 was car parts supplier, your H2 two or three H2s underneath that might be the different brands you provide car parts for or the different types of line items for car parts. So you just want to make sure you have a good header structure and you break down your topics by your main niche, sub niches, and everything else in between. Google's a robot. It's not as smart as you might think, even though the concept of a bot and an algorithm might sound like this crazy thing. It's very bread and butter stuff. It comes to your website and it has a fraction of a second to decide what you're all about, and it uses these headings as a steer to decide that. All right. So just to confirm for the H1 stuff, they help search engines understand the structure and main topics of a page. They boost keyword relevance, strategically placed keywords in headers, reinforce topical focus. It enhances user experience. If you guys are anything like me, I'm a nightmare. I don't know if my generation, I'm a nightmare for just not reading stuff. I'm a scanner. I love it. So I just scroll through websites super quickly. I'm not big on body copy. And so the good use of header tags helps retain people who just like scanning web pages to make sure that they're in the right place. So that sends a good user experience signal to Google as well if people are staying on the page. Use one H1 per page. Don't use don't use more than one. But for H2s and threes, you can use more than one H2s and threes because these are very much sub topics. All right. And this is probably the most important thing about on-page SEO. If you had to do one thing, it would be create new blog content. So creating regular, unique content to show Google you're a thought leader within your industry is super, super important. It provides consistent content that gives Google something new to index every single time it comes back to your website. So let's say, for example, your e-commerce store right now gets crawled every 2 weeks by Google, and it comes and there's 4 new articles on your website. It's gone, oh wow, there's 4 new pages to index. So it's going to put that and save that in its search results, and it's going to say, well, you know what, I'll come back in a week just in case I've like forgot anything or I've missed something. It comes back in a week. There's a few more articles. Okay, wow, okay, well, I'll index those. And then I might have to come back in 3 days because these guys are really, they're cooking, and I want to provide this in my search engines. And at some point with this unique regular content, Google will start coming back and re-indexing your website daily, sometimes hourly, once you really get the trust building in Google and showing that you're providing its potential searchers with unique, fresh content within inside the industry. Blogs can often act as lead pages as well. So blogs in their own right can tend to rank for long tail keywords, and those blogs are then internally link to your products, which can be a good customer acquisition revenue generating channel. Blogs cannot be overlooked. The good news is EKM has a native blog functionality, so reach out to your account manager if you're not aware how to do that, or the support teams, and I'm sure they'll be able to support you on how to get the ball rolling on this. Now, AI. You can't even really go to the shop to do your weekly shop without hearing somebody mention about AI. It's absolutely everywhere. And where it can really help and aid you operationally, it can harm you on the internet if you start spamming websites with AI generated content. So duplicated or generic content. AI models can sometimes produce cookie cutter articles. Google values original, unique insights. Factual accuracy is always a big concern about AI. So it might confidently write things that are wrong, and you're going to want to fact check your outputs. You guys own your niche. You guys are big players in your e-commerce space. You know what's factual more than anybody. And sometimes these large language models do get things wrong. So you want to stay as close to the types of content that you are generating. And over optimization, AI might unnaturally stuff keywords, harming SEO rather than helping it. And also the risk of using AI content, which I'm still a big fan of doing, but don't use it as your brain, use it as an ally, use it as a friend, somebody to help with grammar or sentence structuring. Don't use it to just run your entire blog or run your entire content marketing. Stay as close to it as you can within how much of your operational capacity will allow you to. The best practice for AI content, if you really need to, is always treat AI as a first draft, not a final post. Inject the human touch, add personal experiences, real examples, opinions, or case studies. Now, there's something called EEAT, which stands for expertise, experience, authority, and trust. Google very rarely comes out publicly saying how to get websites ranking in their search engines because they don't want to be manipulated. Google doesn't want SEO people. It doesn't want people like us to exist. It wants all of it to be super organic and real. But occasionally they do throw the space a bone, and they released a concept called EEAT. Now, if you were to structure your content based on experience, expertise, authority, and trustworthiness, you will rank higher in Google for that content. Now, if you were to say to AI, write this blog article based on this topic, use EEAT as a structure, it will guide you through how to structure that content. And mix it up. Use AI for support, but combine it with manual content to keep your blog voice authentic. I'm super lazy inherently, so AI is just this incredible tool for me in my life, just outside of work as well, as I'm sure it has been for a lot of you. But when it comes to looking after your brand online, you can't afford to take too much risk with AI. We don't know how search engines are going to respond to the future of AI tech, so just use it sensibly, would be my advice. Common AI phrases, please avoid these in today's fast-paced world, fast-paced landscape. There are so many recognizable AI things, which I'm sure lots of us have our own. And of course, the big dreaded EM dash, that big hyphen that everyone on LinkedIn says they always used. I never seen it once in my entire career before AI came out. So look, if you're going to use AI content just please do some research and make sure that it's not immediately recognizable to be AI. There's kind of a culture of feeling a sense of betrayal or being tricked when you're reading an article or a piece of content or a social post that's actually been written by AI. I think people are going to crave that human connection the more and more this technology seeps its way into our culture. And again, you have a brand to look after. You want to come across like you're a thought leader in the space. That concept needs to come from a real brain. That trust in customers and your audience will be built based on human connection. So just be super, super mindful that you're not just leaving these breadcrumbs behind of clear AI use and adoption. Off-site SEO, which is the final pillar of organic search engine optimization. Off-site SEO refers to actions taken outside of your website to impact ranking, and the goal is to build your site's authority, trust, and reputation in Google's eyes. And the biggest factor here is backlinks. Now, basically, a backlink is another website linking through to yours. And there can be incredible backlinks, there could be good backlinks, and there could be backlinks that don't add any value. We're going to run through each of these things. Building offsite authority is one of the biggest things that moves the organic needle if done right. So Google uses authority as a major ranking signal. Authority equals trust plus popularity. So whether it's a playground or people around the water cooler in the office, the one thing that dictates popularity tends to be people talking about you. And it's the same everywhere, and it works the same with organic search engine optimization. If Google can see a popular website, they've linked through to your website as a resource, Google's going to go, wow, these guys must be super popular. Let's rank them higher. It's just another ranking signal for Google to judge you on. But not all backlinks are made equal. So high authority sites are worth more and will have more impact than low authority sites. And we'll talk about what that is in a moment. Relevant content on this backlink is better than random link drops on like an article or a directory. And then editorial links, which would be like a guest post or like a news article which contains a link through to your website, is better than spammy directories. So if the BBC or the Guardian, for example, links to you, that's a massive strong signal to Google that you're super popular. But a link from a shady directory with 50,000 other outbound links will be considered low quality and spammy, and Google will basically just ignore it. So here's an example. This particular example, it's called the Best of Web, and it's a directory across every single niche you can imagine: arts, finance, home services. When you click into one of these pages, there's just this real big old list of websites, and it will click visit website. if I was to ask you guys if this was a good backlink, you guys should say no, it's not, because there's no niche specific content. There's nothing to suggest that this website has any expertise or specialism in the areas that you guys want to build your authority and reputation for. So we'll backlink from this directory to your website will do next to nothing in the eyes of moving the needle of Google judging how popular you are. So again, why bad? Everything I've just said, it's got millions of outbound links and not a lot of inbound links. So the balance is off. Google can see this. The backlink isn't accompanied by valuable on niche content. It's just a small card with a business name and link. And Google will see this, like I've said, as no value, and it won't pass any backlink juice through to your website. Now, if we were to have a look at the next example, and this came from a real life SEO customer of mine. This is within the home and living niche. They do like furniture, beds, sofas, all this good stuff. Now, would this be a good backlink? So this website is myupscalehome.com. It's a blog. All of the content is within the home and living niche. Anything from doing work on your home to furniture and all this good stuff and everything in between. And they have an article embedded in this high domain authority website. And it's backed by unique content, contemporary sofa sets to a family event room. And it's talking about interior design, all this good stuff. And just here, the anchor text, Contemporary Furniture UK, that is a link through to my customer's website. Google will crawl this and it will see the website is on niche specific. It's related to the website that it's linking to. And then it can see that all of the content is super relevant. It's related to the niche that the website is related to. And then, of course, it then links through to your website. So when Google comes to crawl this particular blog, it knows it's popular. And then it can see you've been linked to. And then Google will follow this link. It will go to yours and it will increase your popularity. I don't know how old everyone is in this call. I used to play a game when I was a kid called Sims, and every time you get them to react to something, their like popularity would go up or down. The search engines are very, very similar. Get other popular websites to speak about you in ways that you'd wish, and your popularity in the search engines will increase. Now, here's another example, briefhomes.com. It's another blog we have access to. And again, same client. We were linking through to the round dining table collection on their e-commerce store. Again, it's on niche specific content. It's on a niche, strong, relevant website. However, this is not a good backlink, even though it looks like it can, because there is something to be aware of, something very sneaky that people can add to the back of backlink codes, and it's called a no follow link. And it's this tiny piece of code that people can add to the back of this link. And what that does, it tells Google, don't follow this link. Do not give them any love. Don't give them any credit for having us link through to them. It's a very strange concept. I still, to this day, don't really know why it exists or why Google is happy to ignore these ones, because Google wants an organic experience, but it's what we have. So if you guys were to ever pay to feature on any blogs or sponsorship or have a link anywhere else, make sure as a concept that there isn't any hidden code behind this link to suggest you're not actually getting any value from this backlink. If you're unsure, just reach out to your account manager or one of the e-commerce experts here if you want to check, and they can have a look. And if you have any existing sponsorship deals or links somewhere on an existing website, go and reach out to them. Make sure it's not a no follow link, because there are some sneaky things that people can put in behind, so that value doesn't get passed on. Okay, so check domain authority. So how to know if a website has good authority. So DA stands for domain authority, and it's a really great metric, and it's given by the industry leading tracker tool called Moz. And there's a correlation between a website's domain authority in Moz or SEMrush and how high they tend to rank in the search engines. And you can check this in tools like SEMrush or Moz, and there's loads of tools out there. And the number scale is from 0 to 100. The vast majority of your websites, as your sort of smaller businesses, will be between 0 and 40. And big websites like The Guardian or the BBC.co.uk, they're always within like 81 to 100s. Now, this is a real domain authority audit that I pulled from a customer, and you will see, and it's very common, that the vast majority of inbound links through to their website come from really low quality, low authority backlinks with a score of between 0 to 20. Now, 100 to 500 backlinks from a 0 to 20 is worth about one great backlink from a globally recognized resource or something of a great authority and trust between 41 and 60. With all of my customers, we have access to over 10,000 blogs, high domain authoritative blogs across multiple different niches. It's very hard for us not to be successful with placing people with good authority sites in terms of generating guest posts, and we focus around that natural 41 to 60 spots. But occasionally I do have a customer who does underfloor heating, and Screwfix featured them in their blog once, and the rankings jumped up, and that's a unicorn publication. That was a really big win for them. So this is what DA scoring is and means. And this is an example scan. So this is a website that I have control over. Great relationship with the publishers. Again, it's in the home and living niche. A quick scan will show this has a domain authority of 47, which is good. It's great authority, high trust. And it shows how many backlinks they have in total, the spam score. We will only ever engage with guest post opportunities with the lowest possible spam score. This is just to make sure that it's known as a trustworthy resource. Once a potential guest post backlink opportunity passes these key metrics, this website now becomes a great fit as a backlink opportunity for an e-commerce store inside this niche. All right. SEO is a marathon, not a sprint. So if you guys plan on competing in your market in the next 5 years, it's a race worth running. I can't stress enough how important it is over time to build your brand equity through stronger organic rankings. And it doesn't have to break the bank. There are lots of agencies out there that charge the world and deliver questionable results. The good thing about EKM is we are far more tasked on executing on creating successful e-commerce businesses on our platform, and we have a mandate, a sense of urgency to enable you guys to get the most out of growth and give you guys the best chance of success in growing your customer base and getting more orders. Organic growth over a longer period of time is a massive proponent of this. Okay. If you do have any questions, stick them in the Q&A tab and we will be able to address them if we have time at the end. So we're going to have to carry on. I appreciate I'm going super, super quick. I just want to make sure that we have some time for questions at the end. And of course, the recording will be sent out to you as well. So what is Google PPC? PPC stands for pay-per-click, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. This is the sprint to the marathon of SEO. So you pay-per-click and you will just instantly appear at the top of the search results. And there's multiple places this can go. This could be Google Shopping, Google Ads, Bing Ads, Facebook Ads, Instagram Ads. You can pay-per-click pretty much everywhere except for ChatGPT, but I do believe we're going to see that happen in the next couple of years for sure. And why PPC matters for e-commerce? Well, it's instant traffic to your product pages, and it's highly measurable and scalable. We're going to run through some key metrics for you guys to watch out for when running pay-per-click ads. And it's ideal for product launches, seasonal offers, and clearing stock. I do see a lot of PPC executed really well for non-leading products in order to just clear some of the shelves. So types of ads. So the most popular that you guys will see will be the sponsored ads on Google, and they appear like this. And they normally have a sponsored section. If you're anything like me, I tend to scroll past them into the organic rankings. But they generate an exceptional amount of targeted traffic because you can ultimately focus on whichever keywords that you want your ads to show, and will drive through what types of keywords and concepts to target as an e-commerce brand. Shopping ads, which are my favorite, it's my favorite customer acquisition channel for e-commerce brands. It will be the most affordable and most targeted, buying intent driven customer traffic you will ever achieve. This is driven by the Google shopping network. So the EKM platform has incredible integration with Google Merchant Center, which allows us to seamlessly run shopping ads for our customers. And This will show in the Google search results section when somebody searches something specific to a product that you guys sell. It's the most affordable cost of acquisition, so the clicks tend to be really, really affordable in comparison to other methods. And because searchers are searching for a product, they know what they want. The buying intent tends to be much bigger, so conversions tend to be of a much higher percentage, so the ROI becomes more desirable. And of course, we're not going to spend too much time on this. There's social ads, so Facebook, Instagram, and all this good stuff, where you can also pay per click. And then there's the Google Display Network, which are the dreaded ads that I'm sure lots of us have ad blockers for. Although Google Display Network's getting super smart with getting around them. This will be, you'll be on I don't know, Telegraph reading some news or something, and then a website advert will pop up, and it will be a website that you were on a few moments ago, remarketing to you. So that's the display ads. And then, of course, the remarketing ads, which are kind of like the creepiest ones, where you feel you just thought about getting a new sofa, and now suddenly there's just sofa ads everywhere. The internet is watching. Cookies are still very much powerful. Your behavior is pretty much tracked everywhere you go, and all these companies selling in advertising in the Google Display Network, they want to regain your attention, whether you put something in their basket but left, they want to recapture that. So this is Google remarketing. PPC terminology. These are the super, super key metrics that you guys want to focus on, whether or not you're running ads or not. These metrics will allow you to understand the concept of what's measurable and what's not, and it will allow you to be able to identify whether or not a PPC campaign can be successful or is successful. So CPC stands for cost per click. This is how much it's costing every time a customer clicks on one of your ads. CTR is click-through rate. So if you had 100 impressions and somebody clicked your ad once, that would be a 1% click-through rate. Industries depend quite dramatically, but you want a high click-through rate because that means you're getting traffic. ROAS, return on ad spend. This is really sometimes for many people the only thing that matters, especially marketing directors. Return on ad spend is the overall calculation of how much return you got on how much you spent to get this traffic. I liken PPC to you're basically buying revenue, and you want to pay for the most affordable revenue. The lower amount you buy, the bigger your margins, the quicker you can scale. Impressions is the number of times your ad is seen, and there's a quality score for Google Ads specifically. Google will give you guys a rating of how relevant your ads are to the front end of your website. So if you had a car parts e-commerce store and you were running ads about cuddly toys, Google's going to give you a horrendous ad rating for relevance, and your cost per click is going to be super, super high, and that just prevents any weirdness happening in the paid space. Setting a budget, start small and scale based on performance, and consider your average order value and customer lifetime value, and use the formula to calculate ROAS of revenue over ad spend. Now, this seems kind of confusing, but what you want to do is, before spending money or lots of money on paid ads, you want to understand what your average order value is. If you understand what your average order value is and your conversion rate, you can start forecasting and getting comfortable with whether or not a paid campaign can be profitable for you. And we'll go into a little bit more detail of what that means. The reason you need to start small is the Google Ads platform specifically, and social ads work the same, is they run based on an algorithm. Believe it or not, Google want you to make as much money as possible through PPC, even in the competitive landscape. And what it's going to start doing, it's not only going to start learning your website and your ads and your products, it's mainly learning your customer, your audience, who are the searchers on their platform are going to be the ones likeliest to buy within inside their sales discovery life cycle. So the reason you want to start small is to gather as much data and information to feed that algorithm that will eventually give you a better chance of scaling in the future. That's why when I say people jump into PPC, don't just blow a budget really quickly and then say it wasn't profitable and leave. Start very small, stay in the game as long as possible, because over time the script can flip and then you can move a campaign into a more profitable space. Keyword strategy is an overwhelmingly important part of the process, and we spend quite a lot of time figuring this out for our PPC customers. Keywords are the foundation of successful pay-per-click campaigns. In e-commerce, keywords reflect buyer intent. So you need to think like a customer when deciding what keywords to place your ads for. So what would you search for if you wanted to buy your product? Again, going back to that car parts thing, if somebody was searching for a car battery, they might want a picture of a car battery for a school project, or they might want to know how a car battery works. If you were to put your ads to rank for car battery supplier or order car battery online, the buying intent is dramatically different. And if I was a gambling man, I had to put money on it, which ironically you are. PPC is gambling in its own way. You're going to want to bet on the horse that looks like it has a better chance of winning. So focus on buying intentional driven keywords when running ads for your e-commerce store. Super, super important. And again, high intent keywords equals closer to buying. Examples, buy Nike Air Max UK or order protein powder online instead of just Nike Air Max or protein powder. Often more expensive, but they lead to better conversion. And broad keywords equals more traffic, but less intent. So way more people are searching for Nike Airs and way more people are searching for protein powder, but you can blow a really big budget just to try and find those that actually had buying intent in amongst that high volume keyword. And they're useful for discovery and awareness stages. So if people are looking to buy an order Nike Air Max or protein powder, they might be searching what the shipping costs might be or what the price might be. So even if they don't immediately convert there and then, you can remarket to them later, still knowing that their initial buying intent was actually there. Long tail keywords and match types within the PPC space. So long tail keywords are lower competition and a higher intent. So they're more of a descriptive term, which blogs are really good for ranking for. So in this example, waterproof winter boots, size 10 men. This is somebody searching for exactly what they want. They know the size. It's for men and it's a waterproof winter boot. And so much volume in the search engines right now are driven by long tail explorative keywords. And match types in Google, there's broad match, phrase match, and exact match. If you set a keyword, waterproof winter boots, in your ads platform, and you select it to broad match, your ads will show for pretty much any variation of somebody searching for waterproof winter boots. This is a real life use case for my underfloor heating customer. I took over their ads at one point, and I noticed they had paid for a click from somebody that searched underfloor heating clowns. Now, I have no idea why this person searched for this term. I'll never understand. But because they set the match type to broad match, they were ranking for anything, any variation of phrase to underfloor heating. Phrase match is more relevant with a bit of moderate control. So you would ultimately rank in the underfloor heating example, if you set to phrase match, other keywords related to construction and plumbing, but it would ignore anything super wild. Phrase matches is pretty good if you're not sure what people might be searching. You can capture some other relative longer terms. Exact match does exactly what it says on the tin. If you set your keyword to waterproof winter boots and set it to exact match, your ads won't rank for anything other than that exact phrase. That's match types and long tail keywords. The power of negative keywords. Negative keywords prevent wasteful clicks. And you basically tell Google, never show my ad if it contains this search phrase or this keyword. So some good examples, if you're selling luxury watches, you're going to not want to show up for the word cheap, free, and Casio inside your ads. I never thought I would have to add the word clown as a negative keyword for an underfloor heating supplier, but the search space will surprise you over time. Negative keywords isn't a one and done type of thing, so just always monitor where your search traffic is coming from. or of course work with your account manager or the PPC team here at EKM if we are running a campaign for you, and we'll be able to provide some clarity on that. It's all about just refining where you're paying for traffic. The Google Shopping's product feed is an extremely powerful tool when you have products in the Google Shopping Network. And if you don't, you need to. If you're running an e-commerce store and you're not in here in 2025 is crazy work. Reach out. Let's have a look if this could be a profitable channel for you. But when you're in here, ensure your product titles are keyword rich. Add high quality image. They need to look great. Keep pricing and availability up to date, and use the Google Merchant Center correctly. If you're not sure how, reach out. But these are all the things that you want to make sure you're competing, because the one thing in the Google Shopping space is your products visually are there next to your competitors. So as great as it is that it's an affordable customer acquisition channel, it's also the most competitive both visually and on price, because it's also a price comparison tool as well as a good customer acquisition channel. Measuring success. Track conversions, purchases, add to carts, and everything in between. Use tools like Google Analytics and Meta Pixel to track the behavior of what's happening on your website. EKM has some really cool native tools. Just reach out to one of the experts or the account manager if you're unsure of where they are or how to use them. Focus on return on ad spend. We cannot pay our bills with clicks. We have to generate revenue at great margins, and not just focusing on the click-through rate and cost per click. Segment your campaigns to find top performance. Again, if you had a car part brand and you ran 10 campaigns, each focusing on a different brand or a different manufacturer or a different line of products, your car batteries category might be performing way better than your car accessories category. So it makes sense to double down on those ones to generate as much revenue as possible. And you can work with our PPC account managers to figure out what those are. This is super key. Optimize for customer lifetime value. It's possible to scale e-commerce businesses through a low return on ad spend. One of my biggest accounts, Celadec, in one of our ClearCourse brands, went from 1 million a year in revenue to 50 million a year. I think they've done 55 million last year. They're a big golf brand, and I'm still yet to see a profitable pay-per-click campaign. They've always ran their PPC, the ROAS has always been lower than their margin, which is a very strange concept to get used to. But they optimized for customer lifetime value. So let's say you paid £1 a click for in a certain keyword, and you got an order for some golf clubs, but that order cost you £80, for example. To get that the acquisition cost over time, a few hundred clicks, one person bought, they only spent £80, and it cost you £80 to get them. That's not profitable. However, if you focused on customer lifetime value, the next time that customer comes back through an email campaign or through an organic search, they come to you directly, they spend another £80. The cost of acquisition for that customer over time is halved. Every single time that customer comes back, you are increasing the margin of how much it costs you to get that customer. Arm yourself with this concept, because bad news in the PPC space, if you have a type of product which has it is either a consumable or something where somebody will come back and buy again, focus on customer lifetime value. The good news is the EKM platform is we have so many cool mechanisms that enable you to increase customer loyalty to actually make this concept a reality. All right. So PPC recap. PPC should not be set and forget. Don't just make a campaign and just leave it. Make sure you're managing it or someone capable is managing it. Test, optimize, and repeat. Always focus on the detail of what's happening in your PPC account. Don't neglect it. Google has a good way of just making you spend money if you're not monitoring things. Focus on profit, not just traffic. And again, if you have any questions, stick it in the Q&A section and we'll deal with that shortly. I believe, Patrick, you're going to stick a poll up, I believe.
Yes, indeed. So I just want to say, for anyone that is interested in discussing more in this poll, if you click yes, please can you just make sure that you don't answer anonymously, because otherwise we won't know who you are and won't be able to reach out to you. But this is just for anyone that wants further discussions about anything you've heard so more about the growth services, SEO or PPC. Feel free to answer in this poll, which should be coming up now for you. And we'll just give this a little minute just in case anyone wants to vote and have their
Oh,
interest in.
awesome. Should I do a dramatic countdown, Patrick, or should we sit in awkward
I'll do
silence?
I'll do a drum roll. I'll do
Sure,
a drum
we'll do a
roll when
drum
we
roll.
get.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Lots to take in. Patrick, when will the webinar recording be sent out?
So we'll be able to do it pretty swiftly this week. Be able
Good.
to get it out, the recording, and then I think we probably will get like a more dedicated thing coming in a couple of weeks, so that we've got more of a hub for everything to do with the topics that have been discussed here.
Awesome. Great stuff. And we are doing these in person, aren't we? We've just done one in Manchester and we've got Birmingham coming up in July.
Yep, should have Birmingham coming up, I think around the 10th of July, which hopefully will be just as much of a huge success as the Manchester one was already. So
Good stuff. Good stuff. Cool.
yes.
Okay. Well, we will
Cool.
carry
Yeah,
on.
I'll end that poll there. Thank you everyone that answered.
Great stuff. So, just a few more slides, and I'll put you out of your misery, and we could deal with some questions. But I just want to get some concepts on you. I mentioned about tracking and always measuring success, and there's lots of really cool things that you can do. And there's one thing called the Facebook Pixel or Meta Pixel, and it's a piece of code that you install on your website. And EKM has a really good mechanism to do this, and it tracks user behavior. So anything from page views, add to cart, purchases, and it allows Facebook or the entire Meta suite, which includes Instagram now, to optimize your social ads and build better audiences. And it's essential for remarketing and conversion tracking. So, for example, let's say you have a furniture business and somebody hits your website from Google or a PPC campaign or whatever channel, and they scroll through, they put a sofa in their basket, maybe they're just checking what the shipping cost is or whatever, but then they bounce, they leave. The good news is the Facebook Pixel has gathered all of their data, their IP address, and all this good stuff, and when they're scrolling through Facebook a bit later on, hey, it's so and so from furniture company. Continue your purchase or carry on with your user journey, or you can just be upselling, whatever you like. This is the mechanism that triggers that creepy concept that feels like the internet is watching you. And the reality is like the internet is watching you. As an e-commerce brand, you guys need to be doing the watching. You guys need to benefit from this creepy tech and use it as a revenue generating exercise. So reach out to your account manager to figure out how to install this. And the events that we like to track is anything from page views, content views, add to cart, if somebody initiates the checkout or even makes a purchase. With this pixel, you can track and segment audiences to different types of behavior. So if you ran an ad in the social space or the display network on other websites that was come and finish your checkout process, you wouldn't show that to somebody that didn't actually add something to cart and bounce. The great thing with this pixel is it allows you to target potential customers based on their actual behavior. That ties in your brand with, and it gives that potential customer a sense of them being understood. As creepy as it might sound, that understanding of their behavior increases conversion rates for this aftermarket post bounce rate marketing channel. And before we finish, this is some of the most exciting concepts of generating revenue in social ads, which is often not understood. And it's creating custom audiences and lookalikes. I once had a customer in a very, very strange niche in the arts and crafts space. I won't say what it was, but it was making a piece of furniture but very, very niche. It was very like high revenue stuff, but not many people were searching for it because nobody really knew this concept existed. But what we did find was there was a lookalike audience where if we put their adverts in front of people that social media knew were into crocheting, there was a higher chance of that audience engaging in this very strange crafting niche, and it managed to increase revenue and drove conversion through. So what you can do is you can build audiences of people that might have a shared interest in common with the type of industry that you're in. But more importantly, you can reverse engineer this. So if you have been running campaigns with the Facebook pixel, you can automatically find what interests your actual customers have in common between each other. And then you can go to market running your ads to that exact customer profile. So, for example, let's say you had a an arts and craft business, people buying art supplies and all this good stuff. You'll be able to run an algorithm where Meta and the Facebook understand that, you know what, people who the majority of your buyers were also interested in this particular sport or this particular TV show. They all have people purchasing from you, giving you money. They also love this particular TV show. So feed that in to your ads and market your ads to people that like this TV show as well. Audiences and custom audiences and lookalikes have the ability to extend the runway through already well-performing ads to give you that extra level of revenue optimization. And if you want to explore this more, reach out again to our e-commerce experts or your account managers, and we will be able to assist on this concept. So I have spoke at you at 1,000 miles an hour to try and fit in as much value as possible. And I hopefully you guys have been asking some questions. I have no idea what the time is. How are we doing for time, Patrick?
You have, it's perfect. It's exactly 10:50. I don't
Wow,
know
look
how
at
you've
that.
managed it, but it is bang on. So good
Just
work,
like
sir.
that. Just like that. Do we have
We've
any
got three
questions?
questions. Yeah, we've got three questions in here.
Hmm.
So the first one is: we currently use Google Shop, but it lists up as free shipping. This is being caused by collect in person. Do you know if there's any way to rectify this? I don't know if either of you have any thoughts or takes on that.
Yeah, of course. So, I'm not sure whether or not you're running your ads with us or not, but we'll happily check that out. I'm surprised that Google's allowed those ads to continue running because the shipping price has to be accurate with what it picks up happening in the checkout. But if you reach out, that absolutely should be able to be fixed. All you have to do is change the default shipping method at the point of product page landing. We'll be
Cool.
able to check that out.
Wonderful. Thank you. The next one is whether or not the Birmingham Academy will be the same as Manchester, which I guess I can just confirm that yes, it will be the same. It'll be covering the same topics. It's just an opportunity for people that may have found it difficult to get to Manchester in the first place, and would like to kind of have an easier option for seeing it, to come and get all of the same incredibly useful content. Yeah, or you can just come again if you love Jack's content so much. You could just get it all the second time. So
And the free drinks.
yeah, and the free drinks, of course. And then we've got one here, which is how do I know if Facebook Pixel is installed? My website products do feed onto our Facebook page. Is this the same thing?
It's a good question. So there will be, if you have understanding of code, you can look into the code of your website and you'll see the Facebook pixel there. The best thing to do is reach out to whoever your account manager is, and they will literally have a look. There are other ways to feed products through to Facebook using export. So the pixel doesn't necessarily mean that's what's driving that. Again, reach out to your account manager and they will be able to check really quickly for you. I think, is Rebecca on the call, Patrick?
Rebecca's not on the call.
Okay,
It's
fine.
just Eve who's yeah, who's with us. So
Okay. Fine.
cool.
Reach out to the team, ask them. It's a very quick thing for them to figure out and get back
Okay.
to you on.
Cool. Good stuff. Then there's another one here, which is will there be a London Academy? Yes, we are intending to do an academy in London as well. The full selection by the end of the year should be Manchester, Birmingham, and London, and we're imagining that that will probably be coming in early-ish October time. Of course, when we've got dates, venues, etc., confirmed, we'll obviously be reaching out to everyone and making them all aware of it. So
I think it's important to say as well, it won't just be me talking about growth services. At the in-person
yeah,
academy events, we have multiple people from the businesses talking about all sorts of different things from customer loyalty to obviously growth services for myself to design and user experience and lots of different speakers. So it won't just be me talking 1,000 miles an hour all day. There will be a more diverse environment.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, look out for that one, and we'll make sure we can get it over to you. Um, and then there's just one person here who's asking, I don't know if this might be one for Eve, but it's just said that if I'm not sure if I've still got my same account manager, who should I contact about this?
If you just contact the customer support team, they'll be able to take a look at your account and then refer you to the right person.
Cool. Wonderful. Okay, well, thank you very much. I think we've got 5 minutes left. Unless we don't have any more questions, I think we might be able to give you a lovely little 5 minutes back of your Tuesday morning. Cool. Wonderful. Okay, cool.
Amazing.
Perfect.
Well, thanks everybody for attending. We'll get that recording sent out to you. And of course, any questions. I'm a nightmare for always having questions once it's too late to ask them. So always reach out and we'll help with any query that you have.
Wonderful. All right, thank you so much, guys.
Cool. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye bye bye.